With us today is Dr. William J. Parker, and William Parker is a longtime contributor to this show. He was in the United States Navy for quite a while. He served as CEO of the East-West Institute and also CEO of the Parker Maritime Technologies, and one smart guy. Dr. Parker, we're in a mess right now. There's so many things happening all over the world. Where would you like to start?
Well, I thought we'd start with this balloon hovering over the continental United States sent to us by our friends, the Chinese, if that's okay.
That is fine. Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, if you go back and think, one of our first conversations we had before the swearing in of the current administration was that we thought that this administration will be tested like no other. And in fact, that's what we're seeing right now in the past 12 months. This balloon is about the size of 3 buses. It has a lot of technical capability at a very minimum if it doesn't have any weaponization capability, to include imagery, to include weather assessments, to include communication intercepts of cell phones, emails, and other communications. The bottom line is it can be used to very, very specifically target sites that it's hovering over and looking at, to be used for intercontinental ballistic missile attacks or other kinds of attacks, to include cyber attacks. So it is a major threat to the United States.
Now, it looks like this balloon is maneuverable, because how else can it get into the middle of, on top of U.S. Army base or Air Force base?
Well, you're absolutely right. It is something that can be adjusted so they can hover over specific space. So it's just not following the airstreams. So the original statements by the Chinese that it was something that just escaped their airspace and happens to have blown over ours is nonsense. This is used specifically for this type of high altitude spying. And the reality is that we should not just let this thing hover here, and we should not shoot it down. I don't think we should. Instead, I think we should go capture it. We have the capability to do that, a very clear capability to. We need to go up, capture the thing, bring it back down, prove to the world that it is in fact a spy satellite, and have the capabilities and show those capabilities of what it had so that we can counter it in the future.
Well, I agree with you 110%. One of my friends that you probably know out of Washington said he put on his Facebook that we should shoot it down, and guess what? Facebook removed it from his website.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes beyond. My first reaction was to shoot it down, but I think your suggestion of capturing it, if we're capable of doing it, is even better. That way we find out what the heck is it.
Yeah, John, I've heard a lot of people talk about shooting it down, and quite frankly, that was my initial thought that jumped in my head, and I was like, no, wait a minute. I don't want to capture something that I can take advantage of. I want to bring this down, show it to the world, and besides that, I want to get all the technical data out of it I can. Remember when our EP-3 had a collision with the Chinese fighter years ago? They brought that thing down, forced it to land, and they took it apart and mailed it back to us later. We need to do the exact same thing right now, is take that thing apart and learn from it and demonstrate to the rest of the world what this actually is, a spy and targeting satellite.
Now, Secretary Blinken, I understand that on Friday it seemed like he's canceling his trip to China. What say you about that?
Well, what say I is that we should not be distracted from the bigger picture. I mean, the bigger picture here is Taiwan, the economic issues, the economic espionage, the spying, Ukraine and the parts of that China have played, and the list goes on. I don't think we should be distracted from those. And the Chinese, every time before there's a major meeting like this, they tend to have some kind of distractive event going on, and so this is consistent with that. So we should go ahead, go to the meeting, and say, you know what, we took your balloon, we've got it, we're taking it apart. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about the issues at hand here. And then when we finish assessing the balloon, we'll probably mail it back to you like you did our EP-3. But before we do that, we're going to talk about these other issues that are at hand here because they're big.
Understood. What else would you like to tell the American people?
Well, I'll tell you, when I look back at the world today, I see that in the past year, almost 100 missiles were tested by the North Koreans. I think we need to continue to pay a very close attention to that. We ran out of Afghanistan in the debacle after having a lot of great successes in Afghanistan due to the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that served so much time there and other agencies. And so they are growing terrorist organizations at a rapid rate. That rapid growth of terrorists within Afghanistan, combined with a very porous border that we have on our southern border right now, is a major threat to us. And we have got to get the border fixed. The wall is there. All you got to do is stand it up and install it, and then get the people there. There's a lot of good people that want to come into the United States. We need to bring those good people in, but we need to use the process in place to do that and not just allow people to come across the border with whatever they want.
Understood. Well, thank you, Bill Parker, and thank you for your service to our country. And by you speaking out, it continues your service to our country, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for the great show that you put on every day.
Thank you so much, and we'll catch up again real soon.